It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. You know, I've been watching my friends in the Document Imaging channel for about 12 years, trying to pivot into IT services. I figured something out, folks, and I want to share that with you today. I figured out why it's been a miserable disaster and how the transition really hasn't taken place the way many thought it would. Many aspirations haven't been hit, let alone their hopes and dreams of delivering IT services by the year 2020. Because I'm sure a lot of y'all had that as a plan. By the year 2020, we're going to be doing this. And maybe they started in 2015 with those aspirations. But here we are in 2020, here we are in a global pandemic, and we're not there. We're not positioned right to be able to deliver an IT service and taking advantage of this marketplace. We're still going to meetings, talking about how we're going to do it. We're still meeting with consultants, talking about the same things we were talking about 12 years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what? I still hear the exact same thing regarding of how a dealer should get into IT services. I've been hearing this for 12 years. You show up at the meeting, and the consultant stands on stage, and this is what they tell you. You got three choices. You can build it from scratch, you can buy an existing company, or you can partner. You can partner with an existing MSP, master service provider, or maybe a managed service provider in your marketplace. Those are your three options, they tell you. Pick one. It's almost like it's a cafeteria. Which option do you want to do, Jim? Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to build one from scratch. Well, they'll probably talk you out of that. Then they're going to say, well, maybe I'll go buy one. They're hee-hawing this around in their head. Folks, those are a few options. But here's the reality. There's a fourth option. That fourth option needs to be number one. The first damn thing you got to do is build a business plan. Define the customer. A lot of us are getting into IT services based on products and services. We understand the products. We could even understand the services. But that's not a business. A business is defined where products and services intersect with their customers. That's where the business is defined. How and where products and services intersect with customers defines a business. And once you figure that out, well, then you can go back and decide which one of these you want to do. But before you build a business plan, none of those three options make any sense at all. You know why? Let's just say that you decide you're going to pick option 3 and you're going to partner with an MSP or a master service provider. What you're really saying is, we're going to partner with you, now get us in the business. And that's really what's going on, folks. So now you're meeting with the master service provider, and they're telling you, you know, the stack, they're showing you the products, you're understanding those products, you're understanding those services. But you know what you're missing? You're missing how and where those products intersect with customers, and who the hell are those customers? Because you didn't define them. You have to define your customers. You have to define the persona of the customer you seek. This is all part of the business plan. IT services is not scalable to all your customers. You're not going to get into IT services and start selling every one of your copier customers IT services. And those that believe they're going to do that, well, you're not. And it will be a disaster. And you won't be able to do it profitably. You can't scale mass IT services unless you're a really big company. Maybe you can scale some of that smaller hanging fruit. But folks like AT&T and folks like Salesforce and folks like Apple and Microsoft, they're already having conversations with those customers. And they're going to deliver it so cheap and inexpensive, and guess what? It'll be just fine for those customers. You got to go upstream. You got to go in that enterprise space. In order to get into that enterprise space, you really got to define who the customer is. Who's your customer? What products and services are you going to deliver to that customer? Are you going to stick with that persona? Or are you going to have 2 or 3 different persona customers you're going to try to sell and scale that to a miserable disaster? Ladies and gentlemen, there is those 3 options. But man, we got to start with this business plan. And one thing we all got to stop doing immediately is chasing these damn squirrels. Understanding the realities over the hype. Just because we see folks chasing a bunch of squirrels out there in the marketplace, guess what we don't know? We don't know if they caught the squirrel, number one. And we don't know if the squirrel bit him, gave him rabies, and killed him. It's just a bunch of hype until we know the details. But folks, we got to know the market before we sell it. We got to know the market before we sell it. Not how we're going to go to market. We've got to know the market, know the customer, know the products and services. More importantly, how do those products and where do those products intersect with the customer? Do we truly understand that? Because the more we understand that, the more profitably we are. The more defined our deliverable is. Folks, stop chasing squirrels. Know the market before selling. You know, I just came up with an acronym, KMBS, know the market before selling. Because, my friends, we all know this. Status quo is the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo, and I'll see you all tomorrow.